is here. Woo! Y'all, today I'm going to show you how to make these amazing yeast rolls for your Thanksgiving table. This is everything. I'm telling you, you'll be invited every year and asked to make the rolls. I'm sitting up here trying not to eat all of this because they're hot. They're just fresh out the oven, but oh my God, they're so delicious. Come on in the kitchen. Let's cook. So first, in making yeast rolls, we're gonna start with evaporated milk. Now, I have tested a bunch of recipes for yeast rolls over time, and I have landed on my perfect yeast roll, and it requires evaporated milk, okay? And we're gonna add to that, I've got a fresh thing here of yeast. I'm gonna add a tablespoon of yeast, which is just 3 teaspoons, okay? And I'm also gonna add to it some honey. Now remember, when you're dealing with yeast, we talk about this all the time. If the stuff is too cold, the yeast is gonna stay asleep. If it's too warm, the yeast is gonna burn up, right? It's gotta be just right. So my milk is about 108 degrees. But what do we do when we first wake up? We eat, ain't that right? That's what I do. So this honey is going to feed our yeast. So what I'm doing is giving us a good whisk around here so that it all mixes up. Oh yeah. And I'm gonna let this yeast start to proof a little bit in here with the milk and the sugar, honey. And we're gonna give this a couple minutes to come up, to wake up and get going, join us here. Okay, so I have let this yeast proof in our evaporated milk for about 5-7 minutes. Now, it's important to note when you proof yeast in milk versus water, and water, it gets nice and foamy and puffy. It doesn't quite do that in milk. It just gets a little cloudy, okay? So that doesn't mean it's not working. Just make sure your temperatures are right, and it's okay. And if you smell it, you get that yeasty bread smell. All right, we're gonna add 1 egg to this and 4 tablespoons of soft butter. There we go. And the first thing we're gonna do, I've got my whisk attachment here. First thing I'm gonna do is let this all mix together. Be careful, don't go too far too fast because it's all liquid, you know what I'm saying? All right, now that those have come together nicely, this is one of the things you wanna do. I'm gonna take my flour here, and I'm only gonna add, there's about 3 1/4 cups of flour I'm using, but I'm only gonna add 1 cup of flour initially to this mixture, okay? Oh, don't make that mess I just made. I'm going to let these two whip together for about a couple minutes so that it gets light and fluffy and fully incorporated. This is a real important step and a key to getting perfect yeast rolls. And scrape down the sides, make sure everything is getting incorporated. So this has whipped for about 3 minutes or so, and it's gotten nice and combined, and this is really gonna give us a beautiful roll. So here I'm gonna take the rest of my flour. I'm gonna add a heaping teaspoon of salt, okay? Salt is important. I'm telling you, salt is important. It matters, okay? Gonna just stir these together so you mix the salt in it. Why am I displacing flour all over the stove today, y'all? Okay, now this part's kind of cool. We're gonna do switch components, okay? I'm gonna just go ahead and dump all that flour in there because that's really all you need to do at this point. I'm gonna use my dough hook, and I'm just gonna get this mixture together. I just want the flour, make sure I turn it right. Ha, I got it. We just want to get everything incorporated, and then we're gonna let this start to rise. So dough hook in. All right, so that flour has just gotten mixed in there. I'm gonna take a bowl, put a little vegetable oil in it, and I'm just gonna go all around. You can use olive oil too, but olive oil has a strong flavor, and so I usually don't wanna get that flavor mixed in with my yeast rolls, but maybe do what you do, you know what I'm saying? This is my yeast roll. I'm just giving you a guide, okay? And then you gonna make it do what it do. All right, so here we go. You see this is still kind of sticky? That's what should happen, all right? So let's get this up here. You see in there? Can you see? Can you see? All right, the flour is combined, but it's just combined in there. We don't need to over mix it at this point, okay? Oh, I didn't get my dough scraper out. Hold on. This is your friend when you're making bread, because sometimes you have these sticky doughs like this and you still got to work with it, okay? So we're going to go ahead and put this into our bowl, our oiled bowl, just like that, okay? And we're going to cover this with ceramic wrap, a tight wrap, or just a towel. We're going to put it in a nice warm place to dry, okay? See how I'm going to turn this over a little bit here like this? I'm turning it to make sure it doesn't get a skin on it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing there. All right, there we go. That's ready. We're gonna cover this, put it into our oven. Now I'm gonna put it in the oven. The oven's turned off. I'm gonna turn the light on. I'm gonna cover it and let it rise. It should take 45 minutes, maybe an hour max to double in size. All right, be right back. Well, family, we're back and our dough has risen for about an hour and it's so pretty. Let me see, get the saran wrap off. Look at that, nice. Oh, and it's soft, I can tell, I'm so excited. First thing I'm gonna do, take a little extra flour, okay, and just sprinkle it on the top, okay, and we're gonna punch it down, get that extra air out, okay? And I just do a gentle punch. Some people punch hard. Don't punch the bread. You don't want nobody punching you hard, so don't punch the bread hard. All right, back to our dough scraper. Let's put this here. I've got a piece of parchment paper here just to help it stay nice and neat. Oh, you know what I love? One of the things I love most about yeast bread is how soft the dough is, okay? So this is all you gotta do. You see that? I'm just gonna take a little bit of flour here because it's a little sticky, and I'm just gonna pat it out. You don't even need a roller, okay? You honestly don't, okay? So I'm just gonna, I wanna get it covered. I'm gonna take it off this parchment paper, y'all. I was trying to be fancy and stuff, but who am I fooling, right? Y'all know I'm just as country as I wanna be. Well, not really. Okay, here we go. Here we go. The paper has to go. It was a nice idea. Now, I'm gonna flour this. Make sure that I've got it here. And you wanna make sure you're flouring it so it's not sticking, because this is important. If it sticks, you're gonna be missing out on that goodness. Look how soft it is. Hey, I love this. Okay, let me stop. I'm getting carried away. Now, I'm doing just a light knead. See, just a little bit of a fold over. See how I'm doing that? Just to kind of bring it together just a little bit, okay? Now I'm gonna make sure that it's not sticking. And I just keep a little extra bowl of flour by me for when I'm baking like this. And I'm gonna roll it out with my hands. I'm actually gonna pat it out, okay? Just like that. And the reason I keep flipping it over is I wanna make sure it's not sticking, okay? All right, now we're gonna cut this. I'm gonna make this roughly a rectangle-ish, okay? I've got a pizza cutter here, and I'm just gonna try to cut these in even sizes. Now, if you wanna be perfect, okay? If you wanna be perfect, get your scale out and weigh them all, and you will get the exact same size dinner rolls. And I think that's very admirable. I have never felt so inclined to go that far, okay? So I'm just, this is how I do it, okay? Now, once you've got them here, these are our rolls, we're gonna shape them. I've got my pan here, and I'm gonna put some butter in my pan, okay? Butter is your friend when you're making yeast rolls. Butter, butter, and more butter. My husband's uncle used to say, church, church, and more church. Let's get this nice, and there we go. All right. See how I'm putting this all around here? That's gonna help them not stick. It's also gonna help them bake in an amazing butter flavor. I'm telling y'all, Thanksgiving is gonna be off the hook. You can make these right here for the holiday. You will be invited back every year. Okay, now here's how we do this next part. See how we take this? Kind of flatten it out just a little bit and turn it into a ball. See that? And then once it's in the ball, make sure that you go around. See that? Hit the bottom, and you want it to be smooth if you can. Just like that. Now there's a little trick I'm going to show you on how you can also smooth it. You can do this, where you're taking your hand around the bottom, applying a little pressure towards the bottom, and going in a circle. Okay? That works as well, and that smooths out your bottom, okay? Just giving you options, and pop her right there. All right, let's keep going. Flatten just a little bit. You're just kind of patting it down and then fold it around into a ball. I usually just close it on the bottom like this. I'm sorry I'm not explaining. I don't know how to tell you to do this part. See there? And put them in, okay? So I'm gonna go through and put all these in, then we're gonna cover these and put them in for a second rise, about another 20 or 30 minutes, okay? Then we're gonna brush the tops with some more butter, baby. You have to write some more butter. Oh man. Okay, so here are our rolls. I've gotten them all in close to the same size-ish. Now I'm gonna cover these again. Okay, just a little there. That's fine. And my towel, and let them rise one more time, 20, 30 minutes. Okay guys, so our rolls have had their second rise. Actually, you know, I was gonna let this go 20 to 30 minutes, but look at how beautiful they came up after like about 15 to 17 minutes. That's good enough. So I'm going to now go in with some melted butter and brush the tops, okay? Don't brush violently, you know what I mean? Brush gently, be gentle. The rolls haven't done anything to you. They're so soft and sweet and innocent. Now, if you want to make these a little bit sweeter, some people like honey butter rolls. What you can do is mix some honey in with this butter and put that on top of the rolls. I like that, but my family has a split decision on that. So I've done it, and sometimes they're like, nah, some of them are like, yeah. So I just, you know, I'm just gonna give y'all the basics, and then y'all can go from there. Don't be scared of the butter. It's not gonna hurt you, you know what I'm saying? Nothing's gonna happen, okay? They're not gonna combust or anything. Oh, they're so beautiful. And just, I tell you, they're so light. Look at that, you see that? Woo, okay. Okay, now, I'm gonna take a little bit of salt here because that's unsalted butter. If you're not using honey in there, I recommend just doing a little bit of finishing salt on the top because it just does wonders for the flavor. And finishing salt for me, I'm using a you probably can't see, a large crystal type of sea salt. But if all you have is regular salt, that works too. I just like the way these look, okay? So it looks like I'm putting a bunch on there, but I'm not. They're just very large crystals. So I kind of break them up just a bit, just a smidge, and then sprinkle them on the top. We're gonna bake this in a 375-degree oven for about probably 20 minutes or so until they're done. Depends on your oven, okay? You can go as high as 400 degrees if you want to, but just keep an eye on them. I'm gonna do around 375, 20, 25 minutes, and we will go from there. And then we're gonna eat the whole pan. All right, guys, let's get these in the oven. Well, family, 25 minutes have passed, actually 23, and look at these beautiful rolls out of the oven. Perfect for Thanksgiving. I'm telling you, this is what you want. You will be invited every year, and you will officially be the roll person. I'm telling you, yeast rolls. Look at these. And you see how those salt crystals baked in? This is not a ton more butter I'm putting on the top. This is really just what was left over from we didn't put on the bottom. Well, put on the floor. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh my God, and the house smells so delicious. Now, this is the hardest part of the whole recipe. You really should wait to eat these. You should really let them sit a little bit. I've never been successful at that. Okay, but oh my gosh, look, I'm just gonna try to get one out for you to see. Look at that. Look at that. Is that not? Ah! Oh, I just got another whiff, y'all. Okay. I want to eat it so bad. Okay, I'll catch y'all later. I can't. Okay, I can't. It's too hot. It's like burning my fingers just to touch it a little bit. Thank you for joining me. These are amazing and delicious. Let me. Okay, forget it. Shoot, whatever. Woo, hot. Oh. Oh my God. You gotta do this. I'm serious, you gotta make these. All right, thanks y'all. I'll see you next time right back here on Calabama Cooking with me, Chef Lorious. And we'll keep making up all kinds of stuff that's just got all the calories we need. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Happy cooking. I almost burned my mouth on this, but it was so worth it. Yeah.